Let's go! Let's go, everybody. Welcome to another edition of SPiTBALLiN. And you know what we're going to do on SPiTBALLiN today? You know, we talk about one topic, no scripts, no nothing. Just me spitting it out. Me and my knowledge, my 50-year-old knowledge, coming to you on a Monday, the last Monday in February, where the deadline is today to have a full baseball season. And I'm a bigger baseball fan as anyone else. So do we care if we need 162? I think we should go back to 154. Anyway, but that's just me. But that's how we do it on the Let's Go Network. And, of course, you can follow us on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and TikTok, of course. And I said something a little controversial with you youngins. So now it's my job, as I always do on the show, is to entertain, educate, and enlighten you. I don't know how I'm going to make some money off you on this time, but this time I'm going to have to give you some knowledge. So I made a TikTok a couple days ago and said, Ken Griffey Jr. is not a pimple on Barry Bonds' ass. Stand by it. Like, everyone, listen, there are no style points in life, okay? We live in a results-driven society. Now, if the Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York, was the place for the pretty swings of baseball and the best of all time, Ken Griffey goes right to the top of the list. Probably has the prettiest swing in Major League Baseball history. That's nice. Sweet. Great. Congratulations, Ken. However, when it comes to being like a top 10 player of all time, can we please pump the brakes on Griffey Jr.? Now listen, I think you guys misconstrue what I said. Because listen, if you know Ken Griffey Jr. in a Seattle Mariners uniform, not only did he save Seattle, and I saw it with my own eyes. I've actually been to the Kingdom. I've been to the city of Seattle. I had the Flyers handed to me. We need a new stadium. We need to keep Ken Griffey Jr. He's a budding star of baseball. Baseball needs to stay in Seattle. And because of his success and the team's success in the mid-90s, they do have baseball in Seattle. And good, because Seattle's a nice town. I don't know if I'd want to live there, but it's a nice town. The Kingdom was a dump, but they got a new stadium and one of the better stadiums in baseball for sure. And Ken Griffey Jr. had a large part with that. And being a Yankee fan, am I bitter that he said he would have retired instead of being a Yankee? Listen, everyone has a right to their own opinion. Did George Steinbrenner treat his father right and him right as a kid? Probably not, but it's his business. No kids in the clubhouse? No kids in the clubhouse, dude. You want to hold a grudge? That's all you, man. That's no problem. Was Ken Griffey a monster in the 90s? Absolutely. Going to playoff games, watching Griffey Jr., knowing he was going to hit a home run off Wetton, like pointing to the right center field section, knowing he was going to do it. He was a great player. I'm not taking away his greatness. But when you compare his greatness, you guys want to put him up there with like Barry Bonds, who's not in the Hall of Fame. Go check the numbers. How about Ted Williams? How about Henry Aaron? How about Babe? You guys are so misguided. He got into the Hall of Fame with a 99.9. Two guys didn't vote for Junior. Again, it's stupid. Like, DiMaggio needed to get in three, on the third ballot. Babe Ruth, Really? Ken Griffey Jr., with his pretty swing, and I know you new baseball purists out there don't count a batting average, but his greatness allowed him to hit a whopping 284 for his career. Think about that. 284 for his career. And listen, he was a monster in the 90s, hitting 56, 58 home runs, probably not on steroids, though I want to beg to differ. What do steroids do? They make your eyes better. They make your muscles bigger. But what's the downside? They cause a lot of injury. They do. You get yourself so big that things were happening. It seems like Ken Griffey Jr., with all his stuff, tore his hamstring in Cincinnati at the age of 30 and was never the same. I mean, he hit, I think, 40 home runs once after the age of 30. He hit over 300 once after the age of 27. Listen, at the end of his career, he was a bit of a compiler. You know, everyone wants to remember Ken Griffey Jr. for all those great plays in center field, the hat backwards. It's cool to be Ken Griffey Jr. I like Ken Griffey Jr. He was good for the game, but really, look at the numbers. After the age of 30, like the other numbers, never more than 150 hits, never more than 30 doubles, never more than 85 runs scored. He was mediocre at best after the age of 30. And when you compare Ken Griffey Jr.'s numbers, and I'm asking you guys to go do your homework, if you're going to put Ken Griffey in the top 10 baseball players of all time, why don't you read a book? Or how about Google some old-time players? And I don't want to hear racist. I don't want to hear they played against lumberjacks or whatever. I don't hear none of that. Go look at some Ken Williams stats. Go look at Henry Aaron's stats. Look at Babe Ruth. Look at Joe DiMaggio. See what they did after the age of 30. Because when you compare a career, you know, we don't compare, you know, the first 10 years. Because if it was just that, Albert Pujols might have a case to be better than most of them. And for the record, Albert Pujols didn't do much after 30 either. And I would argue that his first 11 were better than Griffey's first 11. But that may be a story for another day. Barry Bonds, age 39, might have had the best season ever. Never failed a test. Alex Rodriguez, a Griffey teammate, who will never be in the Hall of Fame either. Go look at his numbers after the age of 30. You know, life doesn't end at 30. 30 is supposed to be the middle of your prime. And Ken, sadly, injuries cut that short. But was it an injury or was it something else? And everyone's saying he's the cleanest guy in the bunch. But it makes you go, that he never could do it. Why is that? I don't know. Maybe Ken had some help. Let me say it. Let me be the first. Maybe he had a little help. Not sure. Probably not. But the way he got injured and he never really recovered from it. You know, we like the beautiful swing in the backwards hat and say, "Hey kid," but you know, Willie Mays, he is not. You know, Henry Aaron, he is not. Joe DiMaggio, Mickey Mantle, he is not. 284 doesn't cut it. 370 on base doesn't cut it. I mean, through the longevity of their own career. Alex Rodriguez, you go back to those mid-90 Seattle teams. In the history of it, Alex Rodriguez was a better hitter. Edgar Martinez was a better hitter. Might have been the third best hitter on our team. Listen, no doubt he was the star, and there's more to life than batting average and home runs. And he was a five-tool player if there ever was one. But we misconstrue greatness in the entirety of a career. But, you know, toward the end of his career, you know, 260, 20 homers, and 75 RBIs. That's not greatness. That's mediocrity. So if his first half of his career was a 10 out of 10, the last half of his career was a 4 out of 10 or a 5 out of 10. So, guys, don't get your panties in the wad when I say Ken Griffey isn't one of the all-time greatest, because he wasn't. And that's it for this edition of SPiTBALLiN. You can find us on the Let's Go Network, and, of course, tell your friends. Follow us on Facebook and TikTok and YouTube and Twitter for picks of the day and all that good stuff. We'll do that more and more. When I like something, I ain't one of these guys who bets every day. If I like something good, I'll tell you. Right now, pretty easy pickings. Want to make some money? Bet against the Knicks and the Lakers every night. That's a pretty good bet. This is Dollar Bill reminding you to make some common sense out of your sports and your life. Catch you next time on another edition of SPiTBALLiN. Bye.